WHBF is local for you. This is Local 4 News this morning.
Good morning, everybody, on this Monday morning. I'm Redrick Terry.
And I'm Alexandria Ikamoni. Thanks for joining us for Local 4 News this morning. I'm joined with meteorologist Zane Satcher. This morning, it's less cloudy and less windy for us today.
Definitely so, yeah. Not nearly as blustery as we were dealing with weather-wise for most of yesterday. Outside this morning, of course, dark skies, but look at those wind speeds. Only 7 miles per hour out of the west to start off today. A little bit of a wind chill, 36, feeling more like 30. Area-wide, though, winds only around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Actually calm in some spots reporting in this morning. Well, most of us working with wind chills generally in the upper 20s and 30s, depending just how much wind you're working with, and clear skies outside as well. So we're not going to be dealing with those clouds, and we're not going to be dealing with the wind, and it's going to be a much nicer day in store for us for our Monday out there. Temperatures will rise up out of the 30s, 40s, and into the 50s. Actually, some spots may be close to 60 down south of the Quad Cities later today. All in all, no complaints ahead of us. Now, we will see some rain chances as we go into this week. Not nearly as many as last week, though. We'll tell you when they come along ahead in the full forecast.
Zane, thanks. Also coming up, coronavirus restrictions not likely to be eased before Easter. What the current numbers are telling us about the spread of the disease.
Plus, the severe weather in the area this past weekend. We're taking a look at that damage and where a tornado touched down.
And many grocery stores have already shortened their hours of business. What other changes could be in stores for shoppers in about 30 minutes.
But first, we're getting started this morning with the latest on the coronavirus. President Trump extends social distancing guidelines for another 30 days. And you're still being warned to not leave the house. John Lawrence reports.
President Trump's dream to have churches filled on Easter Sunday won't come true.
We will be extending our guidelines to April 30th. To slow the spread.
Confirmed cases of COVID-19 keep climbing, and health officials say people need to maintain a safe distance from one another.
We feel that the mitigation that we're doing right now is having an effect to extend this mitigation process until the end of April, I think was a wise and prudent decision.
The coronavirus has already killed more than 2,400 people in the U.S. President Trump says modeling shows the country's death rate may peak in about 2 weeks.
If we could hold that down, as we're saying, to 100,000, it's a horrible number. Maybe even less, but to 100,000. So we have between 100 and 200,000. We all together have done a very good job.
The U.S. has the most confirmed cases worldwide, with more than 139,000 as of Sunday night. Hospitals in some parts of the country expect to run out of beds within 2 weeks as more patients arrive.
We really have to have a new mentality, a new culture of hospitals working with one another. This is going to be all hands on deck. This is everybody helping everyone else.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And new worldwide numbers are in this morning. There are now over 723,000 coronavirus cases across the globe. The number of deaths worldwide now tops 34,000. Here in the United States, there are now over 143,000 positive tests, and nationwide, there are now over 2,500 deaths. Both of those numbers are up from those in the last story.
And about 1,100 new cases are in Illinois. This brings the total to nearly 4,600 in the state. 18 more people have died in the state, bringing the total to 65. And at his news conference Sunday, Governor J.B. Pritzker announces that a total of nearly 28,000 tests have been run. A lab in the state are running an average of 4,000 tests per day, which is up from only 2,000 just a few days earlier. But it's short of the 10,000 which scientists say is necessary to obtain an accurate picture of the spread of the disease and how to deal with it. While Pritzker expressed optimism, he also offered criticism.
Where we are now is not where I want to be. Every day we aren't hitting 10,000 tests or more is another day that we're not able to get answers that help us get past this current crisis. And to be clear, the loss of essentially the entire month of February in the effort to scale up robust testing and the exponential spread that followed was a profound failing of the federal government. State leaders have spent every day since then trying to correct for this foundational mistake.
In Iowa, they announced 38 new cases yesterday. They're spread over 15 counties. The ages range from child, categorized as someone 17 or younger, to elderly, which is 81 or older. The total number of cases in the state is now 336. There have also been over 5,000 tests that have come back negative. One person from Lynn County did die on Saturday. That person was between 61 and 80, and it brings the death toll in Iowa to 4.
There are 4 new cases in Dubuque County. That includes 2 middle-aged people, 1 elder, and a child. There are now 16 total cases there. An elder tests positive in Henry County as well, and Johnson County has 4 new cases, bringing that county's total to 65, the highest number in the state. On the other side of the river, 2 more people test positive in Rock Island County. One is a man in his 60s and the other is a woman in her 40s. Both are self-isolating at home, and Rock Island County now has 7 cases. Well, Knox County, Illinois now has its first COVID-19 case. Local 4's Josh Vincent is live in our newsroom. So Josh, what do you know about that case so far this morning?
Hey, good morning, Alexandria. The case there in Knox County is a man in his 50s, and health officials say because of privacy laws, they cannot give any more details about the individual. On Saturday, I went to Galesburg and spoke with many people about the county's first case. Many of them did not want to go on camera, but they did tell me their concerns. However, one man who was shopping told me he's not overly worried, but he is taking the necessary precautions to make sure he is staying safe.
It's something that we can't really control. We just have to pretty much just wash our hands and just stay clean, you know. As long as we do that, we'll be fine, I think. It's been pretty hard since, I'm used to going out and going to eat, you know, and going to stores and like that, but I feel like we just gotta have faith and everything will be over, you know.
Now, it is worth mentioning health officials there in Knox County continue to stress the importance of practicing social distancing, washing your hands frequently, and staying indoors as much as possible to mitigate this virus. Reporting in the newsroom, Josh Vincent, Local 4 News. Redrick.
Josh, thank you. Also happening over the weekend, crews are assessing the damage after strong storms make their way through. Several counties in our area faced tornado warnings on Saturday night. Around 8:30, Prophetstown Fire and police responded to an area on Perkins Road and found damage to power lines there. Now, as of yesterday afternoon, that problem did look to have been fixed. There was also damage to outbuildings, a shed, and some trees, some of which have been knocked down. There were no reported injuries and no homes were damaged.
We now know a tornado touched down in Henry County this past weekend. You're looking at video of Woodhull. Storms and heavy winds swept through that area. And as a reminder, if you have any videos or pictures of store damage throughout the severe weather season, let us know about it on the free Our Quad Cities app. You can sign up for breaking news alerts, track the weather, and share videos and pictures with us as news happens near you. Also, be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Almost 5:08 now. A stabbing in Moline this weekend is also under investigation today. Local 4 was first on the scene. This was Saturday night. It happened at 16th Street and 12th Avenue around 8:30. Police say a man reportedly wouldn't let a woman leave his house, so she stabbed him, and that's when the man took off on foot. Local 4 spotted officers looking for him. He was eventually found. No arrests were made or charges filed, and the condition of that man is unknown today.
Well, churches here are now finding ways to still have Sunday service during the pandemic. St. Mark's Anglican Church in Silvis has drive-through communions. This is happening on Sundays from 11 in the morning to 12:30 in the afternoon.
I use hand sanitizer as they pull up, and then we drop the communion into their hands. I stay back out away from the car. I don't lean in. I don't touch anybody. And then after they pull away, I use hand sanitizer again.
Well, they say this will continue until they're allowed to hold Mass again.
The City Church in downtown Davenport is also altering the way it does service. The church is offering a live stream drive-in option. People can park on the outside of the church and listen to Sunday service through the radio while staying inside their car, as well as bringing their own bread and juice for communion to avoid any contact. Other churches like Coram Deo Bible Church in Davenport are offering live stream services.
A Quad Cities nonprofit is starting to feel the impact of the coronavirus. Christians Who Care, Inc. is based in Davenport. They offer breakfast to go from 7 to 10 in the morning at Cedar Memorial Church during the week. The amount of people coming by is going up, and they need food like eggs, bacon, and pancake mix.
We have been getting families coming more often. We've been doing, on an average, about 100 people a day, just in and out, and me going out and traveling in my bus and taking food to people.
Well, donations can be dropped off at Cedar Memorial Church.
A community in Bettendorf is trying to have some fun during these challenging times. On Sundays, they dress up in costumes and parade around their neighborhood until they arrive at a senior center. The neighbors all meet up at the corner of Thunder Ridge Road and Joshua Street in Bettendorf. They hope by playing music and walking throughout the neighborhood, they can brighten up the day of senior citizens and their neighbors.
Today was a little harder to hear all the noise. It was windy, but it was fun to see everybody because we haven't seen them, but also to wave at everybody in the windows.
These parades will be held weekly on Sundays at 3 p.m. Coming up, opening day will come and go with no baseball games being played.
What one team is doing to help its employees who are affected by cancellations is coming up in our next half hour.
And also coming up today, we're going to see some sunshine and a lot less wind as well. We'll tell you when the rain returns back into the picture, coming up in the forecast here on Local 4 News this morning.
WHBF is local for you with Redrick Terry, Alexandria Ikamoni, and meteorologist Zane Satry. This is Local 4 News this morning in high definition.